I second that nomination, Eric.
Oh, thank you, Sam. Thank you. For your show, you have to dance. All right, folks. Good morning. Welcome to Phoenix Business Exchange East End Edition on this fine July 12th and sunny day, which is awesome. We're going to have an educational minute coming up from
Norm.
Okay, Norm, you're ghosting us, bud.
And here we go.
Okay, so we're all salesmen. So one of the things that you have to determine who the decision maker is, right? Especially if you're dealing with a couple or anybody, you need to find out who is the decision maker. If you're not talking to the decision maker, you're wasting your time, right? I'm having a situation now where there's a problem with leaking in a house, and my biggest thing is to find out somebody who's going to give me the decision that I want. So that's the thing. Find out who the decision maker if you want an answer in your favor. Short lesson.
Hi, everyone.
Okay. Yeah. Hi.
Yeah, that was quick.
Yeah.
All right, folks. We're going to do a round robin of who we are. And we will start off with the fickle finger of fate goes to Q.
Thanks, Bernie. Good morning, everyone. My name is Q, and I'm your go-to insurance lady of the group. And do you know that when you are diagnosed with a critical illness, such as cancer, having only OHIP is not enough to pay for other expenses, such as replacing your income, home care, payment for expensive medicines, treatment outside of Canada if need be, and monthly bills. Therefore, having a critical illness insurance will help pay for those expenses that OHIP cannot. You can treat your illness without any financial worries. And also, even though you can use the death benefit of your life insurance policy, if you have one of the living benefits when you are critically ill, it is a good idea to have a standalone critical illness insurance so that you can have the ability to get the premium money back if you decide to cancel it or when you pass away. If you want to know how it works in your situations, let's have a conversation here from World Financial Group, providing you with financial peace of mind when you need it most. Thank you.
Here, thank you so much. And folks, here are a couple of links, one to LinkedIn Live and the other one to Facebook. There's several of them out in the Facebook universe. Put your contact details in that space. And next, we're swinging over to Dave.
Hi, everyone. Dave Belleville from Belleville's Cold Frozen Foods. Barbecue weather is mighty fine today, and we'll be making sure the grill is nice and warm for our supper today. And what's been really surprising people is the Wagyu burgers that I've been selling lately. I would say it's like biting into a pillow. I call it the fluffy meat. And once you've tried something like that, it's hard to go back to the other stuff there. So I'm addicted to Wagyu now. So anyway, other than that, things have been going well. I got a few referrals there a couple of weeks ago from Phoenix members. That is very good for them and very good for me. So any people that are looking for high-end food, please refer them to me. I can definitely get your client into the right ways of buying the right stuff at the right time. So anyway, thank you very much. Have a good week.
Dave, thank you so much. And over to Tanya.
It's from Beyond Safety Compliance. You know how a lot of people will go to work and then start looking out the window and start thinking, oh man, why isn't it Friday? And starting to talk to their colleagues about their cottage and how they're looking so much forward to getting away from the office. This then starts to impede productivity in what they should be doing during the workday. However, there are other companies out there that when people go to work, They are excited to see their colleagues. They're excited about the projects that they're doing, and they really start to get into things. Then they get a phone call from their spouse saying, hey, what's going on? We should have left about half an hour ago. And they're like, oh, right. Yes, I have to start taking time to go to our cottage. These are two different workplaces, but the latter can be very healthy, and Beyond Safety Compliance can help you get there. Beyond Safety Compliance, how does your work look?
Thank you, Tanya. Susan Ebbs, over to you, ma'am. Susan Ebbs, are you able to? You might be frozen. We will come back to you then. Susan McGarry.
Good morning. Thank you so much, Bernie. Sorry about the sunlight. I had a tree removed and I didn't realize it brought in so much light now. So I'm going to have to reposition my computer. Susan McGarry with Pure Trim. I carry a line of, as Q would say, she takes care of your insurance. I take care of your health and people that you know and care about. So there's anyone that needs a liver cleanse, overcome joint muscle pain, maybe they need more energy, or they just want to turn back the hands of time by 10 years and get their Model 30 back. That means 30 years old. Get in touch with me. I'd be more than happy to get them some free information. No obligation whatsoever. What I usually do with your referrals is I'll give them samples of the product to try it first. I was always a true believer of that myself in any sort of program that I started, just to try before you buy. So my name is Susan McGarry and I'm with Pure Trim. Thank you, Bernie.
Susan, thank you so much. And back to Susan Ebbs.
Oh, back in the land of the living here. When Dave was talking, he sounded like he was coming from outer space or something. So it was really good. Susan Ebbs with Total Renewal, and I have partnered with Melaleuca.com. And I thought I'd introduce you to our shower pucks. They're very good. They come in a little package like this, and you just throw that into your shower. And what it does is it helps give you more energy for the day. A lovely fragrance to it. There's essential oils of orange, peppermint, bergamot, and rosemary, and it just melts in the shower. A nice, gentle smell. It's not overpowering, but it gives you energy for the day, and so a great way to start out your morning. Susan Ebbs with Total Renewal. Thank you.
Thank you, Susan. And over to Eric.
Good morning. Thank you, Bernie. Eric Sonego of the accounting group, Eric Sonego Professional Group. We're accountants and management consultants. We're located in Canada. We specialize with people who want to improve their business, or they want to stay away from the prying eyes of CRA. Prying eyes of CRA happens to the people who are we do taxes, personal taxes, and people who want to improve their business usually are people who are in business or are in corporations or incorporated, or they are not just tax clients. A typical client for me is someone, again, as I said, that wants to have time to do their business because their finances are not taking all of their time. Everything else is on the chat line. And enjoy yourselves.
You're in summer mode, I can tell. Penny Lee, over to you, ma'am.
Good morning, everyone. Penny Lee Provo, the Dancing Motivator, co-founder of the Graduate Thrivers Incorporated. What I'm looking for this week is an opportunity to dance outdoors. So I am converting my classes that I typically teach at the Russell Embrum Dome on Thursday mornings to a backyard dance party. And this all started as a result of COVID. So COVID was a great thing actually for me because it allowed me to find other ways to generate new clients. And so we started dancing in the backyard because we needed to have distance and we didn't have facilities like gyms available. So as a result, I have generated a whole following of people that love dancing outside barefoot, connecting and grounding and being able to re-energize themselves. So if you know people that would like to find more vitality and energy, I would love an opportunity to help them move their synovial fluid so that they have lots more mobility. So at Moving is Medicine.
Haley, thank you so much. And Jacqueline, over to you, ma'am.
Good morning. Everyone's celebrating something. So whether you're getting steak from Dave, or you're celebrating a wedding anniversary, or you're celebrating something like your executive business designation that you received, everyone's celebrating something. And I will say to you, Bank of Canada is going to be celebrating something in a couple of days too. They're going to allow us to celebrate. And why not give yourself a gift of taking a look at what your mortgage looks like? Why don't you give yourself a gift of understanding what could be happening over the next 3 months, 6 months, 1 year? That's my gift to you. I'm Jacqueline Richards. When you're looking for strategies, gifted strategies for your mortgage money, make sure you contact your mortgage honey.
Jacqueline, thank you so much. And Tony, over to you.
Thank you, Bernie. I just got a text from Wendy that she's signing a large deal, so I'm going to play her infomercial, if that's okay.
Wendy Chung, real estate broker with Century 21 Synergy. Did you know that we have 5 offices now across the Ottawa area? We've got one in Orleans, one on Lancaster Road near Saint Laurent. We have one in Canada, Perth, and in Smith Falls, and we are growing. So if you know of anyone who is looking for a career in real estate, please reach out to me and let's see if they make a good fit for either my team or as a single agent or maybe another team in one of our offices. The other thing I wanted to mention is if you know of any sellers who are looking to sell their property through the winter months or the fall or spring months, now would be a good time, or at least into the summer, to start taking exterior photos that you can keep on file so that you can show everyone how beautiful your property looks in the summer months.
Okay. And hi, everybody. Tony Jennis from Higher Self. I'm the spirit guy of the group. I have a great story for you. Yesterday, I got a client that called me, and she's in a transition where she wants to move from one company to another company. She's not being appreciated where she is. So Tanya would know a lot about this, that people are starting to look at other employment opportunities if they're not being respected, or if they're not paying right, or there's just no recognition of what they're doing. And this person is a workaholic. She takes her work home. No one else does. And there's no recognition for that. Anyway, long story short, a manager had quit to go to a new company. And the whole idea was to bring her along. When the manager got there to this new company, that company was hacked. So their computer system was compromised. And what happened was that the hiring process was stopped for that moment. And then she says, Tony, what do you think? Is there any way that I should wait? Because the manager tells me I should wait rather than look for another job. And Spirit said, no. This is a sort of a red flag in our industry, where if someone goes in and they get hacked, they get attacked, that's an energy that you don't want to get into. You're going to do this. You're going to get the same treatment as where you are. So I told her to go elsewhere. And so this is what happens when you can get someone that can read that energy and help you along to help you make that decision that you need to. Tony Jennis from Higher Self, where we are here to raise your spirits.
Hey, Tony. And my name is Bernie Fransgrove, Creative Insight Consultants. We do connections between businesses, introduce you to people that you don't know yet, and that could be of benefit to you. That's kind of a quick nutshell. Also have a podcast called The Knack for Business, and that talks to different people about their about the nature of the business and their journey. Other elements to tell you about, and this kind of feeds into all of that. One, the golf tournament, September 14th. I know you guys are probably getting tired of hearing about September 14th. It is a Thursday, and it is a golf tournament, so come on out. And the World Referral Network, it's free. It has access to 1,000 people in that space. You can post and prompt information in that space. And without much ado, and I think I got everybody. I didn't miss anybody. Dave, did I miss you, or did you tell me about that? Dave, did you have a chance to tell me about
Yeah, the Wagyu is his favorite. Yeah.
It must be an automatic replay in my head. Please replay this message. And over to Sam, our speaker for today.
Thank you, Bernie. Good morning, everyone. Sam Sturris, ConnectedCars.ca. Well, I spend a lot of time doing brakes these days. I prefer to do dash cameras and things like that to keep me cleaner, but I do a lot of brakes. And I thought I'd pass along, well, a fair bit of knowledge that I have acquired when it comes to brakes to you. And if you have any questions at the end, please fire away. Hopefully I'll leave some time. Anyway, brakes, car brakes, I'm talking about automobiles. The most common type of brake on cars and vehicles today are disc brakes, also known as, well, rotors and pads. Those are what's most common on vehicles. They are by far the superior of the two, but there's also some drum brakes still available. Those are two types, disc and drum. Or you could have a combination if on the rear of a vehicle, like my wife's Subaru, has disc brakes, but it has the drum brakes just for the emergency brake or parking brake. So that's the two types. What I'm going to do now is show you a typical disc brake and rotor. This is actually off my TSX, my Acura TSX. It's the rear rotor.
We don't see anything, Sam.
Oh no, he's not sharing.
I thought you were sharing ours. Sorry.
Oh,
And then he's got an ugly hat.
I'm sharing it, but it's right here in front of you. Anyway, they were making a little bit of noise when I hit the brakes hard, and I decided to change them out. And lo and behold, it's gone away, and that's the main thing. And here's a typical set of pads that came off, not my vehicle, but a Civic that I worked on the other week. And you see one of them, I'll show it up close, how thin that brake pad is on there. That's the material on the front. And this is the other side. See, there's a fair bit still on there. This one would be still good for another 10,000 kilometers, but unfortunately the slider pins were stuck and wore out the other side. So I've talked about slider pins before, making sure they're lubricated, and well, that's what happens when they're not. So how they work, disc brakes, how they work is that these are caliper. It's a round cylinder basically, and when you put your foot on the brake, the caliper hydraulic fluid that's in your car pushes on that caliper, that round caliper, and it presses against one of these pads, and the pad presses against the rotor, and then the rotor presses against the other pad, and that's how it stops. When it comes to drum brakes, basically there's a cylinder in the inside that when you push the brake on, hydraulic pressure pushes on this little basically box, brake box, and it presses out, and the shoes hit the side of the drum and slow you down. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you some pictures. This is from a car, that Civic, where I got those pads off of. So I'm going to show you now. Hopefully everybody can see that. Right here, yes?
Yep.
Good. All right. This is the caliper piston there sticking out. And if you look at it carefully, you see this rubber membrane that should be nice and smooth around the caliper piston, and it's all torn up. That caliper was stuck and replaced it. Another picture of it. There's the top view of that. You can see how the metal piston in the center is, corroding away. And there's when I pushed it back. You can still see how the membrane, rubber membrane seal is torn away, and you can get a lot of debris that gets into the brake line that way as well. Lastly, on that vehicle, and I want to show this, this is the top of the caliper bracket where the slider pin, and this was the back brake on that vehicle, and you can see there the bushing is torn. I don't know if my cursor, I can get my cursor on it. That rubber looks like an accordion shaped thing. You can see there's a hole in it, and that's allowing it to be frozen. So the back brake was actually wearing away too on that vehicle, but not quite gone yet. So I told him he had a little while yet to go. Okay. This little, I don't know if you noticed it when I held up the brake pad, this from a disc brake, this little bar here sticking out. That's your warning device on that vehicle. There are different ones for different cars, but if you hear this squealing sound, sometimes when you put your brakes on, and sometimes even when you're not putting your brake on, that's a warning to you that your brakes are wearing out. And basically, you got probably maybe 2,000 kilometers left before you hear a lot of noise. And you don't want to go there, because then you're causing all kinds of damage to that rotor, and you won't have, your brakes won't be working very well at all. So if you hear that high-pitched squealing at all from these squealers on your car, that's the time to head to your brake shop or mechanic and have them looked at and have them replaced before you do any more damage than you could to your car, and you know, basically be able to stop. So what I want to tell you now is, and I've had this happen several times over the last few years, and it seems to be more common. People want to do brakes on cars when they're not necessarily needed. As I mentioned there, if you have brake pads that have a 1/4 inch of pad still on them, like these ones here, you have about 10,000 kilometers left. No need to have that brake done. You don't need your brakes done. These days, you're looking at least maybe $700–800 for a brake job. Not necessarily needed when your brakes have a 1/4 inch left on them. When they're down, you know, and that squealer's hitting, or you have an 1/8 or a 1/16 of an inch like this one, certainly get them done. But not when there's a 1/4 inch or more. When they're new, the pads have at least an inch on them. Some vehicles, bigger vehicles, have even more pad on them. So, you know, if you got a 1/4 inch left, you have at least 10,000 kilometers, as I mentioned. So, you know, if you go into a mechanic shop and they recommend it, your brake's done, tell them to take a picture of the brake pad. That's what I recommend these days. You know, you don't have to go out to see it necessarily. Have them take a picture and show it to them, what they recommend and why they're recommending it. And if you see a 1/4 inch left on those brake pads, say, thanks very much. I take your advisement and move on. You don't need them done. So that's been it when it comes to brakes I wanted to mention, and I'm open for questions. If anybody has any questions when it comes to the brakes, shoot away.
Yes, Susan.
Okay, Susan.
Sam, I do it with you, but you're a little bit far away, but I got them done here in Renfrew, and got them clean for $140 and replaced, but I'm still hearing that noise. It's like a high pitched, not all the time, but when I'm driving and I go to put pressure on the brake, it's like a high pitched noise. Should that be there, or should I take it back and say, hey, what's up?
I would recommend taking it back. There's other things that can cause that little high-pitched squeal. If they put new pads on, like you said, cleaning, so hopefully you're talking about they actually put new pads on. If they have new pads on, they have lots of wear left on them, that squealing can actually also be caused by something called the shims. If they're not properly set and they're getting close to the rotor, they can actually make that noise as well. They're a stainless steel material, and they can make a high-pitched squeal as well. So my recommendation is take it back to them. Actually, this is what I have people do. Take a recording, have your phone or have someone in your vehicle when you put your brakes on, record that sound so they can listen to it as well. That would give them a better indication of maybe what it is that's causing the noise.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Yeah, if you can touch on just quickly, Sam, I had this one a number of months ago where a person had applied the brakes and they could feel their brake pedal going up and down. And it's got that vibration. It's later it was found out that the rotor was sort of twisted or it wasn't aligned. And you want to touch on that if that.
Sure. What you're talking about is commonly known as a warped rotor. Especially if you put your brakes on and the steering wheel shatters, and that's the front ones. If you put your brake on hard and you feel it in the back, like sort of in your butt, you feel the car shaking, that would be your rear rotors that are warped. So if you ever have that front steering wheel, and that's the most common one, because that's your front brakes are the ones that you use most of the time, and you feel that shaking in your steering wheel and in your pedal, that would be warped rotors and usually the front. One of our members had exactly that a few years ago, and I fixed that up for her. Mechanic wanted to charge her $600 to replace them, and that was under warranty. I charged her less and they were brand new.
Okay.
Any other questions? Nope. I got 7 seconds left. I'll sign it back to you, Bernie.
Dan, thank you so much. So folks, let's go share some information. What are we looking for inside Phoenix? It's not weak brakes because we have someone that can fix that. I just put in the chat, we are looking for someone who does alarm systems for housing or automotive, travel agent, event planner, house cleaner, landscaper, gift basket company, photographer, someone who does computer retail. Now in the Bell's Corners group, we do have someone that Josh from Sterling Technologies can sell you computer components. You might have to take that off. Legal firm, family and or business law, and sign maker, swag and promotional sales, men's and clothing retail, and plumber and mobile hairdresser. If any of these come to mind, let Penny Lee know. In fact, if you're running into a business that's outside of that list, you can also let Penny Lee know because she'll help onboard them and bring them in. We'll add a couple of free visits into Phoenix to check out the waters and see if they vibe with us. I'm going to share the screen and show you the upcoming events of this week. Not that there's a great depth. You should see a shared screen at this point. And so we had an after hours group yesterday, by the way, 7 to 8. And again, it's going to happen next month, the first Tuesday, 7 to 8 p.m. Come on in. Anybody is welcome to come to that session. We're in the East End group. And here's Penny Lee. She'll help stretch your muscles around a little bit. And then she'll do it again in the evening. So, if you didn't get one, you get two, or you get 2 by 2. South End group meets tomorrow, same time, same channel. Moving to Hill with Penny Lee at midday, and again in the evening with Penny Lee. Friday afternoon, if you need that kind of relaxation techniques to bring you kind of into that harmony of life, tune in with Tony at 1:30. Free for folks to attend, whether you're a member or not. Back a motorcycle run is this Saturday. So Tony's on that, and it's about supporting kids that are going through rough times and have to go to court and facing their accusers, or where they're getting, not the kids, but the other person's getting accused. I'm messing that up. I'm going to stop it while I'm ahead of the game. And now you notice Dave's Monday. It hasn't been posted yet for next Monday. If you'd like to have a bite to eat and taste what Dave has to offer in his either steak, pork, poultry, or fish, let Dave know. He cooks up some food and you will leave fairly content. And then, you know what? Penny Lee's later on in the evening, so you can always follow up with Penny Lee and she'll get that through your system. What else to share with you? Well, 269 referrals happened year to date. 277 BAMs happened year to date. And a BAM is a business activity meeting. That is where we are meeting with other fellow members to understand what they have to offer and or what they're looking for. Both are very, very vital pieces of information to share. And that can change over time. there might be a certain project, like Sam would say, winter tires are now, not now, but obviously in the fall, right? But that's the time. That's who he's looking to target. That's his audience. All right. If the mortgages drop, well, then Jacqueline's the person to get a hold of for that stuff. And if if it's tax time, you know who to reach out to, because Eric likes that last minute job coming in through the door. Said no one ever. The amount of business conducted between members year to date is $165.5 thousand year to date. That's a fair bit of business just between us and our community. Your e-cards, they've had, Tony now has another added value into that space where you can track 7,941 contacts made on our e-cards. So our e-cards are providing that extra spin of connection. The utility out of that e-card, by the way, is that when someone has that and they click on it, they get to see your profile, they get to see any videos you have, and they can choose. Best part is, and they make it frictionless to go click a button and connect with you, either by phone, email, whatever you have is an option. Okay. And now we're going to go and say, what's up? What have you been up to this week? And you know what? Hugh, over to you.
Thank you, Bernie. Thank you, Sam, for great presentations. And it's always great to have a volcanic friend. So if you don't have Sam number saved in your phone, I recommend you to, because the person going to the dealership and say, oh, your brake need replaced was me. And thank goodness I was texting Sam and was asking and got my car there to check, and it turned out I don't have to yet. So that's great. Thank you, Sam. And also very happy with the detailings that you did for my friend a couple of weeks ago. Money worth. That's all for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Q. Sam, there's one quick question from Jacqueline. How can you care for your brakes to lengthen the life of your brakes? Don't use them. But Sam, what do you suggest?
How to lengthen the life of your brakes? Oh,
Yes.
I say this fairly often. Be kind to your vehicle. Don't be slamming on your brakes. That's probably the number one thing. When you go to stop, nice and smooth. Now, on the other hand, don't just have your foot on the brake and heat up those rotors. You don't want to do that. So it's a nice even pressure when you go to brake. That's what I would recommend. That's how you make them last.
Thank you, Sam.
Thank you.
And Dave, over to you.
Nice presentation there, Sam. On a personal note, Sam always brags about my brakes. He's pissed off about my brakes. He doesn't like my brakes. They never wear. So I'll review. I will say this again. In the next 5 years, half of you on this screen will own an electric car. It's going to happen. The advantages are too great not to notice that you don't have to go to the gas station. You can preheat or pre-cool your car by going grocery shopping. It takes less time to fuel the car than it does a gas car, because it takes 3 seconds to do this and 3 seconds to do that. 95% of the time it's at home. It's great. So anyway, I just had my 2 cents for electric drivings down the future. You guys are all going to enjoy it. You'll never have to worry about brakes for a long, long time. That's it.
Guess who owns a Tesla and drives it well. And Susan Ebbs, over to you, ma'am.
Thank you very much. Excellent talk, Sam. Enjoyed your information about brakes, and I wish I'd known you back when my car wouldn't stop coming off the Queensway there. Let's see. Nicole and Dwight and I had an overview session on Monday night, and that went very well. I have ongoing business with Penny Lee and Wendy, and Tony sent me a tuning with a tree tuning, and it's been very fun to experience that. I feel tingling in my hands. I feel tingling and heat in my feet. And the last 3 nights I've had dreams about traveling on various different, a motorcycle. I was on board a ship, and I was in this really fancy car. So it's been really fun going through that experience. So thank you for that, Tony.
Thank you, Susan. And over to Eric.
Thank you for your presentation, Sam. I try not to think about brakes, and I am a gentle brake person when I drive. Thank you to Dave for making the last event that I had in my house very successful, with his steaks. And I haven't had a chance to see him until today, so thank you, Dave. I am going through the worst time of the year for me, which is I have to work like a dog to be able to go on holidays. Then I go on holidays and I have to work like a dog to catch up from going on holidays. So I don't understand who invented this type of life. Anyways, have a great week.
Eric, thank you. Susan McGarry, over to you, ma'am.
Thanks, Bernie. Great presentation, Sam. Thanks for answering my question. One thing that I do to save on my brakes is I use my cruise, although I do a lot of highway driving. So when I see someone really slow on the highway going 60 when you're supposed to go 80, rather than clamping on the brakes, I'll just turn the cruise off. It'll sort of reset itself, and then I'll turn it back on, like an on and off switch. And I think that's really, really helped the life of my brakes. I hope so. 224,000 kilometers, and I've only had to replace them twice. So I think that's pretty good. I have ongoing business with Wayne. Eric, thank you so much. Keeping you on that cardio 9. I hope that's improving your soccer game. And I have a band set up with Alex. He's one of our new Phoenix group members. And yeah, that's about it. Have a great week, everyone.
Susan, thank you so much. And we're going to swing over to Jacqueline.
Sam, that was fantastic. Thank you for answering my unasked question about brakes. It's interesting to hear them on other people's cars squeak and squeak. And I wonder, I think you need to do something about that. You need to see Sam. It was pretty interesting. Thank you so much. Thank you, Dave, always for the shrimp, the steak, the salmon. Thank you. My family thanks you. Have a fantastic week, everyone. Ciao for now.
Thank you, Jacqueline. Tanya, over to you, ma'am.
So thanks again, Sam, for showing us what the problems are with brakes, because again, you can be told a whole bunch of things, and until you actually see what the issues really are, like the thickness of the pads and showing the rubber being eaten away and things, like it's like, oh, okay, so that's what the problems actually are. Not that I see them, you're the one who sees them, but to show us what they look like, I think is really, really helpful. So thanks for that. I am very thankful to Josh Lamb, who had figured out a problem with my email that I didn't even know I had until my daughter told me it's not me, it's you. So I went and asked Josh what the problem is, and there was a problem. So I'm just chasing him down for an invoice right now because I'd like to pay him for what he did. Ongoing business with Wayne and Steve, and I had a wonderful BAM with Alex last Friday. Have a great week, everybody.
Thank you so much. Penny Lee, over to you, ma'am.
Good morning. So thank you so much for that, Sam. I have ceramic brakes, and my husband tells me that they squeak when they're wet. Is that normal? No? Okay, I better come see you then. I thought he knew what he was talking about. Anyways, okay, so I'll book time to come and see you at some point. I also have ongoing business with Susan Ebbs. I have ongoing business with Sheldon Carrasco, and Steve Brennickmeyer is working on a video for me. What else do I got going on? I think that's it. Oh, I gave Dave 2 referrals last week from my colleagues at Canada Post. And so they were talking about seafood, and I'm like, oh my God, you need to talk to my friend. So they were super excited. So I got them connected. So that was really good. What else did I have going on? I think that's about it for me for this week. Thanks again, Sam, for your education on our breaks. That's really important. Have a great day.
Thank you, Penny Lee. And Tony, over to you, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Bernie. I remember in my day when I had to buy a car, all I would have to do was go to the car, check all the radio stations. If it had all the rock stations, the transmission and the brakes were gone. But then times have changed. We got older. We're still playing the rock music. The other way about I found that is not good for your brakes is not using your car at all, where it's just sitting and sitting and sitting, and then you got rust in the rotors. I think, Sam, and that's not good either. When you gotta use those things. So had some business done with Emma, and we were talking with her with some things. She's our photographer. She was in the After Hours group. I'm actually talking to her later on the BAM. Ongoing business with Eric. Talked to Dwight. He's our caterer, and we're going to be setting up our next mix and mingle at Emma's place in that area. So he'll be the caterer. So we're going to test out his food, and at a BAM with Mike and Bernie. Okay, thanks, Bernie.
Not a problem. Mr. Sam, how was your week? How much breakdancing have you done?
No breakdancing that I know of.
Breakdancing?
No, it's been a good week. One thing I do is I continue to advertise, contrary to Dave's accusation there. I'm advertising for Alex when it comes to putting in EV power stations in cars. I put it with my bills to customers. I'm not jealous of your car at all. I know how much you paid for it. Anyway, besides
I'll sell it to you cheaper.
I signed up for the golf for September, and I challenged Dave to do the same. And let's see here. Well, I mentioned that about Dave's vehicle. That it doesn't wear down the brakes as much because of the electric motor in it. It helps in the braking, so it brakes even at 100,000 kilometers are hardly worn down at all. That's impressive. And Penny Lee, ceramic brakes. If ceramic brakes squeaked when they got wet, there'd be a heck of a lot of squeaking going on because the vast majority of brakes are ceramic. That's it.
Let's see. For my week, I have no squeaking brakes because Sam took care of them, and on both of the household vehicles, and that saved me close to about $500 from what I was getting quoted. So that's another reason. It's not because Sam uses inexpensive parts; he uses the right parts, and he's as expensive as other folks are. So he does actually just service what you need to get done, and he does tell you how much life is left on the other side of brakes, which is good to know. And the wife is happy too, which is the other uptick. And Dave, yes, Dave's fine procurement of meat for the household has always been very tasty and appreciated too. Did a introduction to Ishmael to another party, and crossing paths with different individuals, and yeah, that's what I do, right? I do those cross connections. The next piece is kind of the quote for the day. But before I get into the quote for the day, if you're hosting a BAM, record it. And here's the reason why. You're might have an interesting tidbit in that BAM, and send the details over, or send the link, Zoom link information over to Tony. He can take that snippet and just tell him what you're looking to share. You might have a moment of truth in that BAM that you want to share with everybody. It's almost like a promotional video. You're the golden nugget of information at that point. right? Someone's understanding something, receiving it, or you have a pitch. It'd be about, how to file taxes, what applies for taxes, what you can't get exemptions for. Sam talks about brakes. Eric can tell you about what you can claim. Not about your brakes, but your car usage, right? So those are kind of really key kernels of information to share. And so, quote for the day. The bad news is time flies. The good news, you are the pilot. That's Michael Altschulter.